This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield,
Nah, but you gotta laugh and you gotta have fun in recovery. That's what we do here the most.
Adam Stevens,
possibilities nowadays. I mean, everything's a possibility to me nowadays with everything going on. I don't think how you can rule anything out.
and Mitchell O'Brien.
The person I had with me was a felon, and I didn't know I couldn't have my own guns in the trunk.
Well, no, you can't.
It is the 11th of December, 2023. My name's Corey Winfield, and as you heard, I'm joined by two guests. I'm joined by Adam Stevens. How are you, Adam?
Doing good.
And Mitchell O'Brien. Mitchell, how are you?
Fabulous.
Nice. And
Needed
yeah,
that.
we are missing Fabulous in this podcast,
Stole
Justin
it.
Burke. But we all took a little trip today. We went down to Grand Rapids. What do you guys think about that trip?
It was fun. It was good. I liked it.
It was a lot more fun on the way there, I think.
Well, we did the
It was good.
little, not karaoke, but song requests, and then actually getting to check out what we got to check out was good. I liked it.
Yeah, we'll talk about touring Guiding Light is where we went in Grand Rapids. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, what brought on the game of playing DJ? I don't remember.
I don't either. I think you just asked us out of the blue, maybe.
Just
And the
somewhat-
second time, the second topic came from what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it. We were doing the. I thought you just sort of all of a sudden like, hey, let's do this, and then all of a sudden Adam did a recovery song and then ruined the fun.
Whoa. Actually,
It was both. It was a transition because it was both.
Yeah. No, I think it was Justin that said, let's play this game, because clearly me as the boss man would never do this because
Right.
this probably is illegal, and I don't know, but somehow it was like sum up your love life or your sex life or something like that in a song title.
Describe your sex life in a song.
And then I know we started with Here We Go Again on My Own.
No, there's one before that. Which one was the one before that?
I think that was
Justin's first one.
no, that was
Did you
Rocky
play
Like
Rocky
a
Like a
Hurricane.
Hurricane. Yep.
It was Beat It.
Beat it.
And then it got to Mysterious Ways by U2, and then Enter Sandman by Metallica, and then it went.
Rolling Stones.
No, it didn't go the Stones yet. What was?
Justin's second.
Yeah. It wasn't Man Eater. By Hall & Oates. It wasn't that song.
I can't remember. 'Cause I
Oh,
thought the first one was that. It's been a while.
No.
Was that Stained?
No, yeah, that was.
I think that was the joke that started it all.
Yeah, because I did throw a Stain joke out there about something.
yeah.
But I can't remember his second one.
I feel like it was a song that I didn't know, like I don't know what rap or whatever,
Something
like
by
that.
I Prevail or.
That was a
Oh.
recovery song.
Yeah, that was a recovery song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Justin, we weren't paying attention to your sex life that much. But then it went to You Can't Always Get What You Want.
Yeah.
And then it was supposed to be either Crazy or Amazing by Aerosmith. And then we went Amazing. And then you were like, that's actually my recovery song too. You know, it's a good one. And when you said that, I was like, okay, let's listen. Because I don't think I've ever listened to that song with that in mind. And I did. And I was like, dude, that's clearly a song that Steven Tyler wrote about recovery.
Yeah, and that's how I felt the first time too, because as a kid listening to it all the time, you just think it's about relationships or some kind of love or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just adds up perfectly.
Whatever trifling they had in the video with him, you know, it's like, okay, because I loved Aerosmith videos for that. But yeah, if you actually listen to the song, you're just like, whoa, that's definitely what he's talking about.
Right. And that's the thing, when it says when the moment arrives that you know you'll be all right, it's like I get teary every time, you know, like, because that moment, I think a lot of us can think of moments like that where it's just like a turn, you know, and feeling solid about stuff. And
Yeah, but we go so long thinking this is never going to happen, and we've tried so many times and different ways, and then when it does click, and it turns. Yeah, it is amazing, and you're just like, oh my God, it finally happened.
Yeah,
Kind of
man.
like having certain things happen in your life for the first time. You're like, yeah,
Going to the dentist?
I'm not gonna die a virgin. I was talking about sex, Mitch.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about sex. Oh wait,
I almost got beat up by this kid for snoring, but I was like 4 times his size. So, I mean, yeah.
all right, Mitch, thanks for that.
It didn't have anything to do with sex.
You're always just talking about stuff, and it's not really pertinent.
I was born with mine, but I'm glad I can identify it now.
Okay, Mitch, that's great. Anything else?
I watered all of the plants. All of them.
Okay, we get it, buddy. Anything else? You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
So that became kind of fun though. It was, just some goofiness on our way down there, and then it turned into, recovery stuff on the way down there, which was really good. And we were all kind of on the same page. We get to Grand Rapids, which apparently they want you to pay for parking, but they don't want you to pay for parking.
Right.
It's such a dilemma. We're down there on Division Street, and they have these little, what do you call them? Meters?
Yeah, parking meter.
Parking stick or something that you park next to and has a number on it, and there's like download the app. So we download the app and put all the stuff in, and it's like payment doesn't work. I'm like, oh, it's because it's the wrong credit card. Put another one in, payment doesn't work. Do another one, even Apple Pay, payment doesn't work. Let's just go to the freaking meter thing and pay. So we go to the meter, which is about a block or 2 down. It's forever. And we get to this stupid meter thing and put in all the stuff. Credit card, nope. It's not even moving. It's not saying take your card, remove your card, put it back in, harder, deeper, faster, slower. It's saying nothing. And so we try again with a different card, nothing. And then I'm like, well, I'm afraid to even put cash in this thing. And then I think Mitch or Justin, one of you guys said, oh, well, it doesn't take cash. It only takes coins. I'm like, really? People just walk around Grand Rapids. Apparently people walk around Grand Rapids or not walking around, driving around. They just drive around with coins. And I was willing to take the ticket and fight them. Right. I will fight somebody over something that's wrong. And I'll gladly mail them their $3.15. I would have, but I'm not going to take a ticket for that.
Yep.
Not going to do it. Not when your shit ain't working.
There's probably a camera that caught you trying.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was. I'm surprised you guys weren't filming it. You should have.
I should have.
I did that
in
in
that mode.
I did that in Travers last winter. I tried to stop and see my brother at the guitar shop, and I went in and I tried to at the meter tried to use the card thing. And it's like flip it around. I'm like, okay, well I put it in wrong, so do it again, and it's like flip it around. I'm like, wait. So I literally did it every single way my card would go in there, backwards, forwards, every single way, and then it just wouldn't work. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this process again while I record it. Then I'm gonna not pay, and if I get a ticket, I'm gonna fight it, and I didn't get a ticket.
Got your ass.
Yeah,
Well, that's what they were going to tell me. But I don't know. But we get in there and we go into Guiding Light. We're a little early, I think, earlier than they expected us, but it was fine. Better early than late, right? Mm-hmm. And so they tell me that I can park in their back lot thing. So I did. So we didn't get a ticket or anything, but we go in there and we met with Seth and Dan. They kind of took us around and showed us half of the facility before lunch, and then they invited us to eat lunch with them, and it was grilled cheese and tomato soup, salad. It was decent lunch. Justin enjoyed it. I didn't eat mine very much because I was talking way too much.
I started doing that. I realized everyone else was done, and I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this here.
This up real quick. But no, they prepared the guys to go, hey, look, we're going to put a guest sticker or tab or nameplate, whatever, next to them. And I guess they said, hey, these 217 people are coming down from Traverse City and they're going to have lunch with you, think of some questions that you might have for them. And so they were asking me some questions, and it was pretty cool to get to explain what 217 recovery is, what that's all about. Adam, I think you sat with, people that were, I'm using air quotes here, clients.
Yep.
And people that are, in there and trying to do their thing. And Mitch, you sat with staff members.
2 staff members and a client.
Okay.
Yep. I got to sit with, I'm going to call him the intake guy. And so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did any of the tables, was there only 4 tables?
I think there were more.
4 or 5 tables with people at them.
Gotcha. I didn't count.
There were more tables than that, but have people at them.
It was interesting, though, and the questions that they were asking. And I went through Guiding Light at one point in my journey. And if you hear my mom tell it, she'd be like, oh, you hated that place. And of course I did. I wasn't in the right mindset, you know. And she's like, why would you ever go back to that place? And it's like, again, I was not in the right headspace. And sometimes people will tell you along the way things you don't want to hear. You know, and that was huge for me. I didn't want to hear that I was a mama's boy. You know, I knew I was a mama's boy. You know, that didn't hurt my feelings or anything. But as I told the people that, you know, Seth and Dan that were giving us the tour today, like, if Brian didn't pull me in, you know, to the room and they were talking to me and I was like, all right, I'm out of here. My sciatica was going crazy. And that was something I used to drink a lot, you know, the sciatic pain. I mean, it's bad. Nothing touches it. I don't care what pills you give me. It's not going to help. I'm just screwed. And the only way to get to sleep, I thought, was to just drink myself to sleep. So that was hurting really bad. And I was kind of worried about it. And I was like, man, it doesn't need to get any worse. But again, I would have used probably any excuse at that point. And there was another dude in there. And I'm like, oh, they kicked him out unfair. And I don't know why they kicked him out. And again, that's none of my business. So I would use that like, oh, I didn't like that place. And they kicked this other guy out who didn't deserve it. I don't know what was said to that guy, you know, but the guy did try to get me to stay. This other guy that ended up getting kicked out. And he was like, you don't need to leave, you know, just stick it out. And I was like, dude, the pain is going down my leg. It's just too much. I can't deal with it. And then they came out and talked to me, but they pulled me in this room, you know, and they're like, hey, look, you know, why are you going to go home? You know, you're a mama's boy. You don't like to work out. What are you doing? And it's like, well, that's not kind of really what happened. It's my back hurts and I can't really do your crazy military style workout, you know, and my doctor said that I should walk. And that's why I went to the walking machine, because they were like, another thing, they're like, we're going to punish you and you got to clean the bathroom.
Right.
I was like, okay. And for what? And they're like, well, because you weren't working out with the guys and you went to do your own thing. And I was like, well, yeah, because I'm not going in there to hurt my stuff anymore. And you guys paying for my back surgery? I don't think so. I'm just trying to take it easy here. And they're like, oh, so you're a doctor? I'm like, no, but that's what my doctor told me. He said walking helps it. So that's why I went to the walking machine. It's not like I just sat in there staring at chicks or something. But when they, you know, brought me in there, like the mama's boy thing, and I was like, no. And there was another guy in there that I told that I would help him with, you know, public speaking and like doing stuff like that if he would, you know, help me with a workout regimen, because I wanted to work out. I really did, but I just didn't work out there. And he had said, oh, you're a mama's boy, you know, but I was like, yeah, I am. But later on, when I was in a treatment center, and that's the thing about if you're going to treatment centers, if you're, you know, going to multiple, if you've relapsed over and over and you're going to different ones, you know, take a little bit from each one that you go to, because you're going to learn stuff about yourself and you're going to put it into play later. You might not get it this time. You might not get it next time. But when I started digging into, okay, what's really wrong with me, when I had a chance to go to a place and I couldn't leave early and I'm stuck and I'm in there and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try to find out what's wrong with me. What is my deal? I got to dig deep here. And when I started digging deep, I realized, okay, abandonment issues, you know, and stuff like that. And your issues are your issues. But would I have thought about that if, you know, I wasn't called a mama's boy or whatever? I don't know.
Right.
You know, because that's when I actually counted how many treatment centers I'd been to and how many times I've been in treatment. And I kind of went through my mind, each one of them, you know, and kind of played it back. Because, like, if you ever watch Survivor, at the very last episode, they'll go through and they'll go to everybody who's got their torches snuffed out, and they'll be like, oh, remember this guy? We liked him. I'm like, yeah, you liked him so much you voted his ass out first. But yeah, that's real cool. But it was kind of like that, like going through each one, like, okay, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one. And, you know, looking back at it, I think Guiding Light, it would have been a good thing for me. I don't know how it would have been if my sciatica didn't act up, because that really was that was like 98% of it. And like I said, any excuse I would have used, but that one was kind of a big deal, and I really didn't want to go through all that pain again.
And it did look like the working out was a big part of what they do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, most places you go, there's a gym and you use it if you want. But yeah, this place, you know, that's part of the regimen. So
Yeah, it was kind of required that you go in there, and it was a crazy, you know, it was a crazy workout. You know, it was like one of those CrossFit things where you're jumping up, down, grab the ball, roll around, flip back over, and I'm like, I can't move because my back. And they're like, well, you should have put that on your intake thing. I'm like, I did. I told you about it. I was upfront about that, like real clear about that. Because anybody with sciatic pain, they know, man, when it goes down your leg, like, and it was starting to creep down, and it's like, man, when it goes down the leg, I had just constant pain. And before, for it was like 6 to 9 months, I can't remember which one it was. I mean, I know there's a huge difference there, but it was just pain, constant, not going away.
yeah,
And I was doing physical therapy, all that stuff, and nothing really helped it. But yeah, to have it start going down your leg, it's like, no way, I got to go. But I think what Guiding Light does, though, is huge for people in recovery. It's a program that they get. They're funded, first of all, with private donations, you know, and I want to say opens the door to a lot more, but I don't want to offend other treatment centers. But there's stuff that they can do. There's stuff that they don't have to do. You know, it's kind of like, here's our program. This is what we're going to do. The community is behind us. They agree with it. They like what we're doing. We're going to keep doing this. And no one's going to tell them no. You know, no one's going to say you can't take those guys and change their lives. You can't do this for 8 months. You know, their program starts out with, we'll just say, back in my day, it was 2 weeks it took me. But they say it's 3 to 5 day process where people are kind of up front in the building. They're not really a part of the program yet, but they're allowed to kind of check it out from afar to say, are you going to commit to this? Because that's what they really want you to commit to it. And if it all works out and you go to the back, they call it, and you're actually in the program, it's a 4-month program where you're working on yourself. You're not allowed to get a job. So is this something that's going to be cool with you? You know, like these are the restrictions. And yes, you get phone calls and you talk to family and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're working on yourself. And that's 4 months long. I mean, that's 4 months. You know, most treatment centers are like, hey, 90 days. Yeah. This is 4 months right off the bat, just working on yourself. And then after that, you can go get a job after your 4 months, after you kind of graduate the program, but you can still stay there. And they're going to keep your money. They say they'll give you what you need to live on, you know, whatever allowance, but they're going to keep the rest of your money for you. And then you can stay there another 4 months, you know, up to 8 months. So you're saving 4 months of saving money and around people in recovery and people that are doing it. And then they have what they call the Iron House, which is their transitional housing, sober living, as someone call it. And then you can go there and you have a roommate and you can stay there. He said some people have been there for 1.5 years, but it's cheaper than normal, you know, but so you're still around recovery. It's affordable. You know, they want you to accomplish goals and you work on that in the first 4 months too. It's like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? If you say, hey, I want to be an architect, and then you start working at McDonald's, they're going to say, this isn't lining up with your goals, buddy. Like, shouldn't you be going back to school? And I know that's a way drastic example, but that's the stuff that they're going to say. Like, don't be sitting here saying you're going to fly airplanes and then you go get a job and you're a grave digger. Right. You know, they're going to put you in the right situations and they're going to question you when you're making stuff that's not aligning up with what you're saying, which I think is very important.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's real hard because they're going to want to do what they want to do and which you guys know as well as I know, doing what we want to do in our active addiction wasn't working out very well. Nope. But at the same time, we still have to have goals and we still have to do what we want to do. You know, like if I'd have listened to people tell me the stuff that I could or couldn't do, I wouldn't be here right now doing this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was still chasing my dream. Oh, Corey did it his way. Not really. I mean, I did, but I didn't. You know, I was following the rules and I was going after a dream. I was going after something which I didn't even know what it was at the time. You know, it's like, I want to start here and I want to do this. And you got to start somewhere. But to say, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm just going to drink on Fridays, you know, like that way of thinking I had to let go of.
And there's a difference too, I think, between the goals that we want to do and doing sobriety our way, doing recovery our way. Because I think you guys agree with me that when we tried to figure out recovery our way, it didn't work. It really didn't. We needed somebody to help us. But when you get into that and you start getting the recovery and the sobriety and the, substance use disorder under control, you can start to customize your personal goals and go from there.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, some would say though that I did mine my way though.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Justin. But no, like if they, like I've had people in AA say, "Oh no, you're working the steps," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." They're like, "Yes, you are. You're doing all this stuff." And it's like, yeah, okay.
Well, and I kind of feel like it's all the same. Like if you're gonna do the steps or not do the steps, if you're working on sobriety and it's working for you, you're doing the things, but maybe in a different order, maybe a different way. I mean, that's why the multiple pathways things works for people. Is there are people who really connect with Dharma groups. If you look into the principles of Dharma, the steps are there. They just word it differently. So it's like, what is going to fit into your brain that is going to be that key that unlocks it for you? But most of it is pretty much similar stuff. Working on your, there's a reason that there's a spirituality aspect in most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. It's because that really does seem to help people. Making amends and stuff like that. Like that makes you a better person and works on your character and your personality, the personal inventory. A lot of these different structures have all of the same things, they just word it differently. And it, helps people.
I don't know. I did it different, I think. But I didn't. I don't know. And like I wasn't trying to I'm gonna go do my own way. But like I said, some groups will tell you you're not doing it right. You got to do it this way, and there's no right way. Well, there is a right way, but it's different for everybody. Mm-hmm. For me, it was starting a podcast and having goals and dreams and putting together all the things I learned over the process of it all, and where I wanted to be and how I learned that I could make that happen. It was huge, but I don't know. It was a good time though at Guiding Light, and it brought back some memories when we went to that last room where we used to stay with the back to work people. They had a back to work program, which I think would be great. I'd love to start that here in Traverse City. It'd be empty, I think, because it's for people who have nowhere else to go, but who want to rebuild their lives. And not saying that there's not people here in Traverse City that don't want to rebuild their lives, but there's work involved. Working on themselves. And I don't know, it'd be an interesting concept. I'd love to talk to some people about it. Obviously, it would take, funding from not the state, to do things the way they need it to be done. And they said that COVID kind of took that program from them. When COVID hit, it was just kind of like, okay, well, what are we doing? And they chose, when things opened back up, to just focus on recovery, which I think was smart, because when you try to be too many things to too many different people, you just kind of get things lost in the shuffle. And they're talking about opening a women's house, or not a women's house, but a women's program down there too, which I think would be awesome. Yeah. And they already have transitional housing for women in Grand Rapids. We have all those flyers and stuff, but Guiding Light, they have a website. You can check out more about them. Mm-hmm. But it was really cool to kind of go back to a place where I was before, and kind of get to tour and to show you guys hey, these places are out there. How cool is this? That it's free for people to go through. It doesn't matter. They're insurance. It doesn't matter if you have insurance or don't have insurance. It's free to you. It's a program that's strictly funded off donations, which is great.
And that blew me away. I didn't realize that stuff existed. That we go to treatment for free. I mean, without insurance and
right.
But yeah, it's that program there. I think about my journey or whatever, and man, I don't know. I think everybody's in a little bit of different situations, but there's a lot of situations where it'd be really good to just. I mean, I remember when I was at Bear River, it was my second rehab, but the first one I was only there for 2 weeks. And when I first got there, my roommate said, shoot.
Don't put that there.
Right. It was. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Fabulous.
Yeah. He said, this is pretty much your first time. You should probably stay for 90 days. And I was like, whoa. You hear that 90 days, and I had just got it through my head that I was definitely staying to 30. That's what I'm doing, and I was proud of that mentality. But that's why when we were there, I said something like, "That's what their thing is." Not like nothing against anything else, but they got like a program that you work through like that. That I don't know. I like the way they went about it, I guess.
Yeah, and the state will put a cap on how much they're going to pay for. Like if someone's on Medicaid, and it's all based on your insurance too. Like even if you have insurance, like our insurance, like it has a cap. Oh, you can go. They will pay for this many days, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess. But I mean, are you going to be where you need to be when you leave? Probably not.
Yeah.
That's why people go back again. But with Medicaid, they'll do the same. They'll say, okay, we'll fund this person to stay 2 weeks, and depending on how this is how great Michigan is. There's 10 different regions. So whatever region you just happen to live in, depending on the drug problem in that area, determines how much funding they get and how much funding that they'll be able to spend on you to go. So some regions are like, no, we're only spend 2 weeks there. And then some regions are like, wow, because you actually charge more for so if you're going to go to a place, Adam, for 3 months, well, the treatment center is not really like that because there's a different rate. So for the first 90 or for the first 30 days, it's this rate. For the second 30 days, it's lower. Mm-hmm. So they're going to want you to leave, mm-hmm. And there's some, which there's a place in Michigan that's like they're on a 2-week rotation where it's like, you can't, you're not hardly going to learn anything in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what are they getting out of that? Like that they can just turn them out? It's not how treatment works.
If I had to guess, it's very successful in getting some of your family off your back early on or something. I mean, because 2 weeks you're not going to learn anything. Like
no.
2 weeks you might start feeling a little better.
And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I wish we'd stop wasting money on that, and just put people in at least for 30 days. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd put everybody in for 90, but that freaks a lot of people out, and then people wouldn't go. Mm-hmm. But at least give them an option. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was the king of leaving early. Like after a week, and I got it. Let's go. I figured it out. Now I'm gonna be changed, and then fall on my face. And oh no, I'll do it like this. But I had to learn all those things. Mm-hmm. But man, to have had a chance to go for 90 and actually stick it out and stay for it, it's hard for people.
Yeah.
You can start making excuses. Well, my house, my car payment, this and that. And eventually, I'd lose the house and lose the car. So, I didn't really have anything else at that point.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why Guiding Light does their process in the beginning, which I thought was really cool. Because, it doesn't really matter what your insurance is. It doesn't matter if you can pay for it. It doesn't matter any of that. But they want to make sure that the people who are going through there mean it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to say too. That's a real big difference at the rehabs. I mean, that would be huge. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No. That's fine, because that's one thing when they told me their program and how long it was. It clicked in my head how long kind of the recovery process to get it really going happened for me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to do it in a treatment facility, but I was like, that's the time frame. Mm-hmm. I remember it. That's how it worked in my head. That's how from that last drink and then getting into, and for me it was Vivitrol shots and counseling, but getting into that line, just really how long it took me to start processing things different and to actually take it over as my own, my own program. And so that was exciting to me. And then, like you guys said, I don't want to really bash anybody, but then the 2-week programs popped up in my head. And I'm like, the word worthless kind of jumped into my head. I was like, this is so much better than that. So much better than that. And it's structured so much better. Mm-hmm. I just really liked it.
Yeah, and I think, with the length of it and everything, that's what I realized is I think I wouldn't change any of my journey, but I kind of wish early on I would have realized that the more I just dive into it and just submerge myself in recovery, just that's my life now for a while. I mean, that would have been, I mean, that's what you kind of have to do anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and we can take that from the visit that we did today too, and to tell people like, hey, I know this really amazing program that can restructure everything and that really works for people, but you gotta want it.
Yeah, and there's some people that it's just perfect for too. Because that's the thing is, there's a lot of guys that want it, and that about few months, just and it was myself a few times. You get I'd get 4 or 5, 8 months or something, and it's just, where am I going from here? Where am I going from here? You know what I mean? And it's that forward direction. If you lose that pace, but that kind of structure, man, that'd be huge for some people, especially the young guys, because there's probably a lot of more young guys at rehab nowadays than there used to be too.
Yeah, there's a guy who I told to go there, and I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but if he's listening, yep, I'm talking about you. Well, I told him, I was like, go there. I told his family, same thing, like, this is where I think this person needs to go. And nope, I didn't. And it's one of those things where they want you to relocate there pretty much. They were saying at Guiding Light, like, we don't want people to come in here, do their 4 months, and then jet back to Detroit and whoop, right back to the same thing that they were in. Because guess what's going to happen? They're going to fall in line with the same things they did before. But like to start anew, and this person that I was like, dude, this is a place you should go.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, I don't know if that person would have made it anyway, but it would be set up for them to win and not fail. They would be in a different area. Nobody knows who they are. They're starting over. They're rebuilding their life somewhere new with opportunities for them.
Yeah.
Instead of like, let me go back to the places where maybe I have burned some bridges or whatever, And then sometimes it's hard to commit to going that long because, well, I want to do what I want to do, and that's too long, and I don't need to do that. I need to go make some money because I want a house and a boat.
And we never think we're going to go back out either.
Right.
So that's yeah.
I'm going to do it my way, and at Guiding Light, they do the abstinence, like, I'm going to smoke weed because my doctor said so. They're going to say, no, then you should go smoke weed over there because we don't play that really, like, but my doctor said. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. Like, nothing against your doctor, but you can go on now.
Yeah.
Well, that's a phenomenal thing that I kind of realized about Guiding Light was that the structure, the time length, their program, it's set up for people to rebuild an entire life pretty much.
Yeah.
And so many people have hit their rock bottom with a pickaxe and still try to hold on to stuff.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. You hear it at some meetings that we go do outside of here. You hear it with people that come in here and talk. And it's just like, you need a total restructure. You really do. And that's what they're offering people. And I think that's why they're selective with who they let in, because, we know how valuable resources and funding is.
Yeah.
And so they're treating it that way. But, and I wish I would have known about it. I would have tried to get in there. I really would have,
There was someone last week. What's that, Mitch?
I have to get all up in it.
Yeah, you said that. But no, there was someone last week that said something to me about, I just want to go back to my old life. And I looked at the person and I said, well, why?
That's gone.
It got you right here. Like, the old life, why would you want to go back to that? Didn't sound like it was so great, like.
Or when somebody goes, I've lost everything. I've lost everybody. And then seeing a program like today, I want to look at those people and go, great. Here, let me show you the starting line.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got from today is here's an awesome starting line for somebody who has burned their life to the ground,
Well, that's what, and I've, speaking my journey specifically, I've kind of looked at a lot of, if you have, kids or people back home that you can't just start a whole new, kick everyone out of your life. You know, that's kind of the mentality at rehab is you need all new people in your life. And it's like, oh, well, what about my kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but I always said that, you know, just anybody listening, that's a huge benefit. If you're at a point where you just need to start over and everything, that's a perfect way to do it. And you don't have anything holding you back. I think I would have dove a lot more into it if I wasn't thinking about home all the time. You know, that held me up for a long time. And I really had to. I mean, when this all started working for me is when I did decide, you know, I went to sober living. I'm starting my own routine, and it was about what I was doing, you know, and that started figuring things out.
Yeah. Stop doing what you wanted to do, and started doing the things you needed to do. Because none of us wanted to go to sober living, you know.
Yeah.
But you get to that point where it's like, all right, well, I'm going to go do this. And then you realize, okay, cool. I experienced that. And yes, I did learn how to set up a routine and learn to live sober. But we don't want to live with a bunch of dudes anyway. You know, like that's not what we want to do. So, and it's not a permanent thing either. You know, some people are like, I don't want to do that. Well, it's not forever, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's a nice opportunity. It's really all you guys, you know.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not torture at all. It's an opportunity.
Well, it's a starting line to restructure a foundation to build your life.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you can look at it that way, which I don't know if it's handed to a lot of people like that, like this is a great restructuring program. Like, here you go. Maybe we need to ask different questions. Like, you know, when somebody's asking about what treatment centers they should go to, and just start asking, like, well, what do you have left?
Yeah.
What do you have this? How about your relationships? Do you have a home? You know, just like all these different things. And if it's 0 on all of them, be like, sounds like this would work for you.
Yeah. Get to that. And it's not that you have to be at that got nothing left point either to go to Guiding Light, but he said to me, you know, we don't get a lot of the first timers here. You know, it's like, it's usually the people that have hit that bottom, or, you know, have heard about them or their program. But I think it's a good program for people. It's helped a lot of people, and they do it different, which I think is a good thing actually sometimes. And, you know, it's not that they do it different. Like they don't have real therapists, or they don't have real, you know, drug counselors, stuff like that. No, they do. You know, they still follow some things, you know, but they're not mandated to do this or do that, or, you know, keep somebody who's using or kick somebody out. They said they use, you know, like if you don't make your bed, they'll kick you out. You know, it's no, oh, you don't get a pop today. No, it's you're not following the program. You're not doing the things you need to do. We look at that as the same as using, you know, and you have to, you know, not doing your chore, not doing, you got to do that stuff. And, you know, they hold people accountable, and they're not afraid to, like, all right, you got to exit the program, you know, because they know that will catch on and that other people are watching.
Yeah. And there's other people that are going to take it seriously. There's other people that are going to do it right, that need that opportunity. And if, you know, you want everybody to get it, but if you don't take it seriously, it takes time, you know.
Well, and I see it as such an amazing resource too. Like it weeds out the people who aren't serious. You know, that really, if you really, really want it, then you're going to do whatever it takes. And I think that's why my IOPs that I got into worked so well, because I walked in there and they're like, what's your goal for recovery? And I was like, do whatever you tell me to, because I'm like, you tell me to pour my heart out to a therapist once a week, I'm going to do it. You tell me to try and stand on my head every other day, I'm going to do it, because if that's going to help my recovery, everything I'm trying ain't working. And it following their structure is what helps.
I watered all of the plants, all of them,
Every single one of them.
I like that. Yeah, you're doing what you're told. I like that. I like that a lot. That job's never going to get old.
I was born with mine, but I'm glad I can identify it now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what you were talking about in that drop.
I can't remember. I don't remember saying that.
That's going to be used a lot as well. No, but I know Adam's filling in for Justin in this meeting tonight, and he wants to go get some snacks and get some food. So we'll wrap it up. But yeah, Guiding Light, thank you so much for allowing us to come. That didn't sound right. Allowing us to visit and for showing us around, and it was very cool. I loved it. I loved the fact that you guys got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really happy too. Like just a different. I haven't seen that side of it before, and that was really nice to see today. And the guys were really cool and everything. So
Yeah, very nice and pleasant and very welcoming to us. And
yeah, it was awesome.
yeah, so thanks again, Guiding Light. We appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. And if you need resources, anything like that, like I said, they have a website. Just look them up, Guiding Light. But if you're like, I'm afraid to reach out, then you can hit up Justin at 217recovery.com. You can hit Mitch up as well, Mitchell at 217recovery.com, Adam at 217recovery.com, and Corey at 217recovery.com, which is all on the website at, again, 217recovery.com.
Check out our blogs at 217recovery.blog. 217recovery.com/blog.
Got both your asses.
All right, until next time, see ya.
See you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.